I'm a SCORE mentor, and this is a SCORE webinar featuring speakers from Magnet and Thinkbox. Basically, I'm going to do some introductory slides about SCORE, and then I'm going to introduce our speakers. Each of the speakers will talk for around 20 minutes each. First Magnet and then Thinkbox, and then we will open it up to Q&A at the end. So with this, we're going to talk a little bit about SCORE. Basically, our mission, vision, and values are focused on small business. Our objective is to help small business owners thrive. As you know, small businesses drive the national economy. That's where we're focused. All SCORE mentors are volunteers, and they give freely of their time, energy, and knowledge to help others. SCORE is the largest network of free volunteers of small business mentors in the nation. There are over 12,000 of us spread across over 200 chapters, and you can request a SCORE mentor at SCORE at Cleveland. We'll have the website up a little bit later. Basically, we are a organization that serves all people, and we are very much focused on responding to anyone who wants to have the services of a SCORE mentor. Our focus here is that we do most of our training by video calls, and we do a lot of support via email as well. Basically, on a national basis, SCORE is very active, and in Cleveland, we have more than 85 volunteers. We started last year, helped 227 new businesses start, created nearly 1,000 jobs, and we serve Cuyahoga, Lake, Lorraine, Geauga, Ashtabula, Huron, and Erie counties. We cover a huge geographic area. Basically, on a national basis, you can see that SCORE is working across the nation to help create small businesses and help them achieve success. We protect our clients' confidentiality, and also we have a very strong ethical principle that SCORE members are not permitted to take money or make money in any way from SCORE clients. And we may not use any of the information about our SCORE clients for commercial reason, and all of our SCORE client information is confidential.
Hey, Dan, there's a small obstruction on the presentation. Just wanted to note it since we can't see the full presentation.
Let me just get that out of the way. Is that out of your way now?
Yeah, this is a little better.
Sorry. Appreciate that. Thank you, Jimmy. All right. How's that?
That's better. Thank you.
Okay. This is the SCORE website, and it's Cleveland SCORE, and you can find a mentor there, and you can find lots of free resources. Basically, to introduce our webinar today, this webinar will describe how new businesses in manufacturing space access rapid prototyping equipment and services that are part of the process of developing a minimum viable product. That's not the only thing these groups do. We just use it as kind of an introductory phrase. Magnet and Sears Thinkbox provide these and other services. In this 1-hour webinar, each organization will address broadly 4 questions. What do they do? What's their purpose? What are their unique capabilities? How can you, as a SCORE client, benefit from using their capabilities? How does it help you develop a product more quickly in terms of time to market, which beats tinkering in a garage? And finally, how can a SCORE client get involved with these facilities, including key points of contact? Basically, these are our speakers. Liz DiCarlo, Maggie Pryor, and Jimmy Salgado Juarez, and we will introduce them again later. You will get a copy of all of these slides. I'm going to stop sharing my screen now, and I'm going to ask, we're going to have Magnet do their presentation. While they're bringing that up, let me introduce them. Liz DiCarlo is a new ventures consultant who works directly with startups, meeting them where they are in their process. With a background in buying and product innovation, Liz helps many clients with milestones such as value proposition, definition, and prototyping process. She started with Magnet in February of this year and comes with experience working for corporate retail companies and starting her own women's mobile boutique business. Maggie Pryor is a new ventures consultant at Magnet, working directly with startups in Northeast Ohio. As part of the new ventures team, Maggie utilizes her own entrepreneurial and operational background to support others, including assistance with business and product concept, prototyping and manufacturing readiness, and pitch participation to obtain funding. Maggie comes to Magnet with deep experience, having previously co-founded a food manufacturing startup and having worked across the software as a service, consumer packaged goods, and healthcare industries. And with that, Magnet, you're off and running.
Great, thank you so much. I will kind of just breeze through our introduction slides because you did a wonderful job introducing us. So today we're going to cover who is Magnet, a little bit more about Magnet. I will give you some facts about why manufacturing is so important to us here in Northeast Ohio. And then we'll dive in a little deeper into the new ventures team that Liz and I are a part of, as well as our prototyping services and how to go about utilizing those. So again, you did a wonderful job introducing us. I'll spare everyone the time, but that slide is in there explaining Liz and I's background. And then to dive into manufacturing. So again, I'm sure everyone is familiar with manufacturing being a huge part of what happens here in Northeast Ohio. It is the third most productive state in the nation in terms of manufacturing, and 34 of our top employers are manufacturers. So when we think about job creation and bringing dollars into the economy, manufacturing is huge. In fact, for every $1 manufacturers add in value, you can see there that almost $3 then is generated elsewhere in our local economy. So who is Magnet? Magnet has been around for almost 40 years. We were actually initially established to provide small and medium-sized manufacturers resources to grow. Trying to get those small to medium-sized manufacturers services that perhaps the large guys have access to that these small and mid-size would otherwise not have access to. So we started with a mechanical engineering team. Our engineers are able to help with that prototyping process, and they also work with those small to medium-sized manufacturers in terms of automating their systems. We also then added in some operational support to help manufacturers with their lean operations, as well as sales and marketing support to help companies with strategy and growing their revenues. For those of you that might not know, Magnet is part of the Manufacturing Extension Partnership, otherwise known as MEP. The Ohio MEP is a state and federal initiative that manages a network of regional affiliate organizations. So Magnet is one of them. And we're strategically coordinated and located throughout the state based on our key industry sectors. So Magnet, being in Northeast Ohio, is focused on those small to mid-sized manufacturers. And as I've hinted, again, being in the Rust Belt, we have a plethora of companies that are able to tap into support from Magnet. One benefit, and well, I should say another benefit to working with Magnet is the vast network that we can help expose and connect manufacturers to, and vice versa. So through the help of our business development team, we're always able to connect manufacturers to resources in their communities, as well as connecting many of our community partners, such as chambers or universities, to manufacturers that are in their area. So the goal with all of this is with increasing innovation, job growth, and the economic impact to our area. So as mentioned before, our mission at Magnet really is to drive manufacturing growth in Northeast Ohio. And while we work with small to medium-sized companies, Liz and I are part of the new ventures team, and we specifically work with startups and entrepreneurs. And Liz, if you don't mind just going to the next slide, this really gives you a good visual of the sides of Magnet. We have our consulting side and our talent side. And out of our work, it really, Magnet really started to hear about the additional needs manufacturers had. One being that there was a huge need for talent in manufacturing and bringing more people into manufacturing careers. So we've begun a large initiative around talent and workforce development, including working with students and local school systems to expose kids to those careers in manufacturing. We also work with adults to connect more people to manufacturing careers as well. And then the second need that I have not mentioned that came out of working with manufacturers in the area was startups. So startups and entrepreneurs are uniquely positioned to bring innovation to the area and to the manufacturing industry and help grow the sector. And that's where our New Ventures team helps and supports this need. So what you'll see here again in this slide is Magnet Services really broken out into these two areas of consulting and talent. And the New Ventures team, we are part of our consulting group. And I'll just go into a few of the offerings of our consulting services. So Magnet has an amazing team of expert consultants that all have extensive backgrounds and expertise in manufacturing. The goal of our consulting is always to help manufacturers realize measurable and impactful results to their businesses. As initially mentioned, Magnet started with those engineers. It's really one of the highlights of what we're able to offer. A fun fact is that we are the only MEP that has engineers in-house. And our engineers can help with industry 4.0 advancement. So really integrating technological advancements into manufacturers' production, whether that be new machinery, automating current machinery, or looking at like new new product designs as well. Our operations team, again, through their expertise and background, can really look at improving the operational efficiency for manufacturers. So they can cover things such as capacity and productivity planning. They really work to engage employees. Perhaps it's additional training on those systems that have been automated, or helping them with some new supply chain solutions or ERP solutions. And then our strategy, marketing, and sales group is excellent at helping those small to mid-size manufacturers realize growth. So sustainable growth strategies, they might help conduct market analysis or come up with multi-channel marketing strategies. So those are just a few of the offerings of our marketing and sales. And then New Ventures. So as mentioned, Liz and I here are from the New Ventures team. We support startups and entrepreneurs, as well as intrapreneurs that are perhaps within other manufacturers already. But anyone that is coming with a new product that they perhaps need help testing product concept viability, or are interested in the prototyping services that we offer, as well as our New Ventures team is responsible for our annual MSpire pitch competition, which Liz will give a little bit more information about, as well as the starting of our Advanced Manufacturing Fund. And so from here, I'll let Liz take you into a little bit more detail about all of those.
Thanks, Maggie. Okay, just a little deeper dive into the New Ventures team. So we work specifically with Ohio startups that are tech or tech-enabled physical products, tailoring our support to their specific needs. We really like to say we meet the client where they're at. And some things that we can help with are listed below. The first one being we can walk you through the value proposition matrix to help define the value of your product and get you to the next step. As Maggie mentioned earlier, we can connect you to our engineering team to help with anything from finding materials and prototyping to getting your product ready for manufacturing. We can also help with a persuasive pitch and getting your pitch decks ready to speak with investors. We can make a personal introduction to the Advanced Manufacturing Fund. The Advanced Manufacturing Fund was developed specifically out of the need for more funding for tech or tech-enabled physical products in Ohio, and we work directly with them. As Maggie said before, we can make connections to our operational team. They can assist in anything such as sourcing machinery, helping you develop lean operations, things of that sort. And then the last thing, you may come to us with an idea on the back of a napkin, so we can, through ideation and innovation strategies, we can really help bring that idea to life. So just to give you kind of an outline of how you would work with us for prototyping, step one would be contacting our team, Maggie or myself directly. We're in charge of the client intake. You can also email the email address you see below. That goes to both of us. And then the next step, we would set up a 30-minute virtual call with our team discussing your individual needs. If we determine that you need engineering help, following that call, we'll send out a set of questions and make the connections with our engineering team to scope out those projects. And this is just a photo of our new building. This is the shop, as we call it. This is where the engineers are hands-on creating your prototype in-house. You can't see, but the room behind through the door, that's additional space. And someone, if they had the need for a small temporary manufacturing line, you could set that up in our building as well if you're a client. Just diving a little bit deeper into product development, getting us to the prototype phase, we break it down in 4 steps. So step 1 being with engineering, defining the product requirements, specs, and constraints. This might start with an ideation session if the actual product is still unknown. This also could be connections to our patent lawyer if you are looking to get some intellectual property. They could do a patent landscape with you. Step 2 would be the discover phase, would be engineering, gathering research for product concept and doing component testing. Step 3, engineering would develop models, drawings, or plans together, and also gather supplier material quotes. And then step 4, engineering to deliver the prototype to help source manufacturers if you're at that step and ready. Maggie kind of touched on this before, but just to let you know, our engineering team is mostly made up of mechanical engineers, 1 electrical engineer. We do have the ability to outsource to other agencies should there be a need or a component with a different expertise. And then just giving you some examples, we work with a very wide range of physical products. And these are just a few of them. So one was an automatic changing HVAC filter for commercial clients, a mobile climbing wall to help avid rock climbers train at home or on the go, a hydrogen drone refueling system to replace batteries with hydrogen fuel and increase drone flight times. Airless tires, originally created for NASA space missions, but they're expanding into other markets such as cycling and automotive. And then lastly, automated French press. So as you can see, a wide range of different product uses. And then just to give you kind of a case study with a current client we're working with, Todd from Aspire, he's in the athletic industry and found that it was becoming harder and harder to find ways for athletes to speed train. So that's when he came up with a solution of a remote enabled training belt that connects to resistance-based equipment. Todd had no engineering experience, but he came to us with an MVP or a minimum viable product that he built himself. The MVP was great to test with customers, but he had some kinks to work out. So that's where Magnet came in. Some of those kinks were slow release from the equipment and not able to hold heavy enough equipment. So after a few meetings with Todd and our engineering team, we're now working with him on this prototype. In addition to the engineering help, we're helping Todd to prepare his pitch to investors. And then lastly, as Maggie mentioned before, we just want to tell you about our annual MSpire pitch competition happening on September 21st of this year. MSpire is Ohio's premier pitch competition for manufacturing startups with a focus in hard tech, advanced materials, and physical product-based industries. Applications open July 1st. The website link is there below, and submissions will be due by August 10th. We do help entrepreneurs along the process. So should you want to apply and need help with your pitch or pitch deck, that's something our team can assist with. And then just thank you so much for having us today. We were super excited to share a little bit about more about Magnet and what we do on the New Ventures team. Just a link for our website and mine and Maggie's contact should you have any questions. That's it.
Okay, Liz, if you would stop sharing, please. Thank you. Thank you very much, Liz and Maggie, for that great presentation. I want to remind everybody that this presentation is being recorded. Also, Sharon, can we put their slides on the SCORE website? They've offered to provide us with a PDF. Can we do that so people can get to them afterwards? You're on mute, Sharon.
I'm not sure yet, Dan. We can talk about that and look for the proper place to go.
Okay.
I'd like to try to find a place, so we
Okay,
can talk
good.
about that.
And Jimmy, the same offer to you if you want to provide a PDF. Yeah, you're welcome. All right, thank you again, Maggie and Liz. Our next speaker is Jimmy Salgado Juarez. Jimmy is the manager for program development and implementation at Sears Thinkbox. Having worked as Cleveland Museum of Art's outreach specialist prior to his role at Thinkbox, Jimmy has a passion for creating resource networks and empowering community. We had a tour of Thinkbox, and he's a great tour guide, among other things. Thank you, Jimmy.
There you go. Of course. And thank you again so much for having me. Thank you so much for the introduction. My name is Jimmy Salgado Juarez. I'm that long title or just program manager. But I really enjoy just introducing community members or anybody who's into innovation or wanting to innovate an idea and bring it to life to Thinkbox and the resources we offer. Very similar to Magnet, but with also some ways that we can work together. So for example, oh, excuse me, I'm on the wrong slide here. There we go. So Thinkbox is a 7-story, 500,000 square foot facility at Case Western Reserve University. So we're in the back of the university, and we offer an innovation space for the general community. So this is an open access innovation space that welcomes thousands of visitors each year, and it is free to come in. So we have several floors dedicated to innovation, entrepreneurship, and also just general collaboration and working together in groups. And we're hoping that by providing the space to the general community in Cleveland and just Ohio and everywhere else in general, that we could support people in learning and refining and using skills to achieve their desired goals or bring their ideas into a reality. Magnet talked a lot about prototyping, and just we're really excited because if you guys have a different format for prototyping, say you have a fashion design, or say you have a idea for a t-shirt, or idea for a different type of smaller scale, low fidelity prototype, you might be able to start at Thinkbox and then go to Magnet to look into manufacturing or look into getting into a different form of production. But that's just kind of leading into how we can work together as organizations in Cleveland. But talking more about Thinkbox, Thinkbox has a variety of resources and equipment available as, again, open access innovation center and makerspace. We have equipment ranging from 3D printers to laser cutters, table saws, drill presses, and we offer tools and support you need to run to turn your vision into reality. And by that I mean our third floor is our prototyping floor, and that has open access equipment like the 3D printers and laser cutters that are first come, first serve. If you're not aware or sure how to run or use any of the equipment, you're welcome to talk to the student technicians on each floor. We're open from 12 to 7 from the 3rd and 4th floor, our maker floors. that are predominantly available again for public use. And we like to emphasize that we have millions of dollars worth of equipment for anybody to come in and use and experiment with. So if you are uncertain of your ideas or just want to learn more about what you can do or what you're capable of or what your idea can look like, you're welcome to come to Thinkbox and just get a consultation of just trying to learn or find which is the best format to execute your idea, and then use some of the equipment and machines to find the best way to create your idea. We have a variety of equipment again, and some of it is more higher end than others. So we have Ultimakers, for example, which are just tabletop 3D printers. But on the other end, if you wanted to use, say, for example, a PolyJet machine, which is a very high-end 3D printer, we also have that available as well if you wanted to create some final prototyping and in different materials like polycarbonate, ABS plastic, or just anything else that you might need. So I'm going to be just getting out of this presentation very quickly and just going over here to our virtual tour and just showcasing some of the capacities here at Thinkbox. So this is just a quick dollhouse of our facility. And if we go over here to our third floor, you'll be able to see that in our third floor, it's an open layout space. There are computers available, the 3D printers, and in our additive manufacturing studio, where we have higher end 3D printers, are more capacities to create different things if you needed to. We also have sewing machines, we have embroidery machines, we have a t-shirt press, and even a vinyl press if you wanted to work on some fashion designs, electronic soldering stations. So the intention is to just enable anybody in the community to create, innovate, and be curious. And again, on our fourth floor, we also have a fabrication space. So if you needed to create something or you weren't sure if you needed to add more items to your manufactured piece, you can come to our manufacturing floor, which is equipped with mills, lathes, anything else you might need. There's also a fully functioning workshop, wood shop as well, equipped with all the materials you might need for any woodworking projects, and a welding shop as well. So we talked about like, how would this be different from tinkering in your garage? It provides a number of professional level tools for anybody to come in and learn how to use them if they're not aware to use them, with training available on our Thinkbox website if you wanted to learn how to use any of this equipment, or just give you an opportunity to use these tools in order to make your idea into a reality. And we always like to encourage low fidelity to active prototyping. So starting from the very basics like a drawing, or just starting from cardboard and trying to make sure that fits all together, and then going into creating a 3D print, laser cutting out a design, or just doing something that you might need to kind of make it into a visual format. So how do you get access to the space? Or how do you even just get started in working at Thinkbox or just using the materials and equipment? Membership is free, so there is no membership fee. There's no cost to come into Thinkbox or use any of the equipment. The only cost anybody has to purchase or pay for is the cost of materials itself. So if you need plywood, for example, acrylic, any filament for your 3D printing, you would need to either bring your own or purchase it at Thinkbox. Again, it's available for sale at Thinkbox, and you could even look through the materials that are available on our website, and I'll show that in a minute. But in order to get access, you would just come to the second floor of our facility, and at the front desk, you would just register for a Thinkbox ID card, very similar to a library card. I like to say that Thinkbox is pretty much like a user space that's akin to a library, and you just use the materials as you would, or use the equipment as you would check out a book. So you just fill out a simple registration form, making sure that you have your photo ID with you, and then you get your Thinkbox ID card and you're good to go. Once you have your ID card, you can use any of the equipment and materials at Thinkbox. The fourth floor is a little different because it is a fabrication shop. It does have some safety rules and regulations, so you would just need to go through some different policies through that. And by that, I mean an ability badge. So ability badges are just a way to use the fourth floor. But if you have questions about that, feel free to reach out to me, or just come to Thinkbox, and we'd be happy to talk about ways that you can use the fourth floor for any manufacturing or any fabrication ideas that you might have. Entrepreneurship at Thinkbox. So in addition to our maker floors, we also have our sixth floor, which our second and sixth floor, which are co-working spaces. So if you needed a quiet space to sit down, think, or collaborate, you're welcome to come to these spaces between 9 to 7. The second floor is meant to be a little louder. It's our collaboration floor. So if you have a group presentation you wanted to work on, or just come together as a group to shout out ideas and spitball any thoughts you might have. That's a great space to come in and work together as a group. The 6th floor is a bit more of a focus space. There are hotel offices available, namely just offices that you walk up and do a walk-up reservation. I'm in one right now because I wanted a quiet space and I didn't want people bothering me during the webinar. But these are just quiet spaces that are available for anybody to come up and use. A lot of students like to use them, and also folks who have an idea and just want to use the whiteboards in this space, or just want a quiet space to work through their ideas. Our 7th floor has an incubation space, and this is open to the community as well. Incubation essentially means these are rooms, studios that you could rent out at 6 months at a time. And you start your business from there. So you already have your business idea, you've made some prototypes, you've reached out to Magnet, you got an idea for manufacturing, but you don't have a place to get started. You can use our incubator space to get your business started. And if it doesn't work out from there, you wanted to change ideas, you wanted to shift gears, then you can let go of your lease and again, rent it out again once you have a different idea available to you. And again, it's open to any community members. You just reach out to the Veal Center of Entrepreneurship, and you can go on our website for more information as well. We also have skill lab series that happen during the semesters, so fall and spring semester. And these are just local professionals in Cleveland or even from the United States working to provide their knowledge and learnings of entrepreneurship, small business, or ventures, and anything else that they might have learned over time to provide it for the community as well. And these are free to register. They're going to be available on our Thinkbox website to sign up if you're curious about joining one. And if you're a professional who wants to hold a workshop, you could always reach out to the Veal Institute, and they would be happy to find a way to provide your learnings to the general community. And we're, again, located at the far end of the Case Western Reserve campus. So if you're going down Euclid Avenue, you would go all the way down to the bottom. Unfortunately, we don't have any free public parking available at our address. So we do recommend everybody park at the Veal parking garage, which is on the on Adelbert, just right off of Euclid Avenue, that have convenient park. It's a convenient parking location, has reasonable rates, and if you have more questions on how to get Thinkbox, you could again look at our website. I'll show a few links that are useful for anybody to look at. And if you have any questions for me, I'd be happy to answer them. You could, my contact information is available on this slide. And let me check real quick over here, excuse me. Oops.
Okay, we're going to open it up now for Q&A. There's one question so far. You can put your question in the Q&A or in the chat box. I'll keep an eye on each one. So we are open for questions now to either Thinkbox or to Magnet. First question is, do you support home decor or just fashion? Jimmy, I'm guessing that's for you because you mentioned sewing and yarn.
Yeah, so we do have sewing machines, embroidery machines. We even have something called a Sailrite, which is a heavy duty sewing machine for leather, canvas, upholstery. So if you wanted to experiment with any home decor or anything that you had an idea to create, then you're more than welcome to bring it by. I did want to mention that, of course, Thinkbox is an innovation space, not a manufacturing space. So if you have an idea and just wanted to test it out and prototype it, more than welcome to come on by. But we would ask that people not try and mass produce their items or products here.
Okay, we have a new question. How much does it cost to rent a space? Might be addressing to both groups. So Jimmy, you first, and then Liz or Maggie for the next one.
Yeah, floor 7, the incubation spaces at floor 7 vary by rate because some of them are different sizes. I'd recommend reaching out to the floor 7 staff. That's Tiffany, and I could bring up the webpage and put it on our slides so that when you guys receive the slides at the end of the presentation, you could see it. It's available to y'all.
Magnet, did you have anything you want to reference in terms of user costs?
Sure. I don't know if they're referencing like working with us or specifically the manufacturing space I spoke of, but to work directly with Magnet, Maggie and myself, that is free. But to work with our engineering department, that would be scoped out and a project estimate. based upon needs and wants. And then the manufacturing space that I talked about, we're in a brand new building as of last fall, so we've never had an entrepreneur in there to take that up, but it would be free to them. So we could figure out all the ins and outs, but that would be of no cost as well.
Okay, thank you very much, Liz. Maggie?
Let me, yeah, just to piggyback on what Liz said. So any, business consultation, product ideation that Liz and I do, that's the free service. When we do scope, when our engineers scope out a project, if you're working with us in new ventures, and we're making that connection to our engineers through our, state funding, we are able to provide discounts to entrepreneurs and startups. So that is one of the benefits of working with our program versus maybe going out and paying for engineering services on your own.
Thank you very much, Maggie. Another question here. Can you give an example of what the process would be like for a food product, bringing a food product into production? Two-part question. This is directed at Thinkbox, I'm guessing. What information do we need to bring to sign up for Thinkbox? So let's take the first one for both individuals, whether you can support prototyping of a food product, bringing it into production, and then specific question for Thinkbox about what's needed to sign up.
Sure, I'll field that for Magnet. So if we're talking about an actual, eating food product, we are not the best place for that. We really would be more focused, as Liz said, on devices. So she gave the one example of a like a coffee machine. So if it's related to food, but it has a product focus, we certainly can help with that. If you're actually talking a consumable food product, I would encourage you to look into services at the Central Kitchen. They're a fabulous resource here in Cleveland for food manufacturing.
And fielding the question for Thinkbox, and again, equally, I would recommend the Central Kitchen for anything related to food in terms of consumption, but you could, of course, if you wanted to prototype, for example, a utensil holder for the food, or you wanted to see how a design for a new spork would be like, you're welcome to come to Thinkbox, maybe 3D print it, or may use a laser cutter to see what it would look like. Unfortunately, the filament we have is not food grade, and you would need to look for something that would be food grade to create prototypings for food specifically. But that's just a few ideas if you're thinking about food related prototypes. In terms of Thinkbox for membership, you only need to bring fill out the registration form. The link for it is available on the slides, but you're also welcome to go to our website under membership, and then you could see the registration form available there. Or you can come to our second floor front desk and you could scan a QR code and fill it out on the day of. And then you would just need to bring a government issued photo ID. And those two will be enough to get your Thinkbox ID.
Let's just toss this back to Magnet. What's the start process for someone who wants to come to work with you?
So as Liz mentioned, really just shooting us an email so that we could get an initial meeting set up, and then we can refer, based upon that, we can really determine your needs, refer you to any resources we may have if it's not working with us directly. There is no, membership type of arrangement. So it really is, kind of just reaching out to connect and contact with us, and then we'll go from there.
Okay, another question here, probably for both of you. Does your organization assist with patent drawings? If the patent office has specific requirements for drawings that come with patent applications, do you have anyone who can help with that, assuming the person wants to patent their minimum viable product?
Yes, I'll go ahead. So our engineers do help with that. That is a service that we're able to offer. And then, as Liz mentioned, we have connections to patent attorneys that would also help with the filing and the research in regards to IP.
Jimmy?
And in our case, unfortunately, at the moment, we don't have support for community members for patent and law information. We would, of course, refer you guys to Magnet or even SCORE for help on patenting or getting your ideas into that streamline.
This is from SCORE's perspective. Typically, when we're asked for help with patenting intellectual property, we refer the client to the Cleveland Bar Association because they would then be able to check their membership for attorneys who have a practice in the patent area and would provide you with that kind of contact information. There's another question here. Someone wants to know, this is again in the textiles area. They want to do a trial run of throw pillows. Who might they contact?
Yeah, so if you have a specific idea in mind for like if you wanted to make a throw pillow, for example, you could come to Thinkbox during open hours, that's 12 to 7, and then come to the 3rd floor and ask a student technician what you would need for that specifically. So there are, again, sewing machines available, so they would be able to direct you to which sewing machine you would need. We also have a darner machine, and again, that upholstery machine. And they also offer consultations on the 3rd floor. So if you weren't sure which piece of equipment you would necessarily need, they would also let you know what would be the best benefit or what you would use.
Okay, just looking to see back to the audience. We do have time for more questions if you have them. Here's a new one. Hang on. I'm looking for a manufacturer to partner with to make our product. Can you help us find I guess an OEM manufacturer for this person's product?
Yeah, so that's part of the engineering process where they could make those connections and find the best fit.
Jimmy, is there anything that Thinkbox does, or would you refer them back to Magnet?
I'd refer them back to Magnet, or even try and find those in our network who might be able to help or partner with them. It depends on the specific industry, but most of the times we help with the innovation side of creating the product, and then they could, of course, reach out to different manufacturers for the manufacturing side.
Okay, the floors. Okay, here's another one in the chat. I have a shop that I rent and produces for military and civilian market, but I have no marketing skill for my products.
So Magnet does, as Maggie mentioned, in part of our consulting umbrella, we do have the sales and marketing team that can assist with that. So just depending what your specific need is, we can make that connection to them.
Jimmy, do any of the entrepreneur resources that you mentioned in your presentation address that?
We don't have marketing support at the moment.
Okay, thank you, Jimmy.
Mm-hmm.
Got more questions coming in. Okay, this is very specific for both of you. It's a piece of equipment. Do you know of a sublimation printer locally?
That's a great question. Unfortunately, we do not have a sublimation printer at the moment at Thinkbox. We do have a heat press vinyl, but there are others, for example, like the Barry Romick Makerspace out in Akron that does have a sublimation machine.
Okay, here's another question for both of you. How can I get a tour of your facility?
Sure. So for Magnet, again, reach out to us directly. We're more than welcome to arrange a tour and, that initial phone call to discuss any ideas or help that you might need. We're welcome to do in person as well, and then we can arrange with the tour.
Jimmy?
Yeah, and I'm just going to take over the screen for a second. So on our website, once you go online to our website, you'll be able to see a number of tabs. You just go to About, and then you'll see a tours option available. When you go there, you'll be able to go to schedule your tour and find a time that best fits you. Tours are about 20 to 25 minutes. And it's just a quick overview of Thinkbox. And if you have any questions about facilities or equipment or services, that would also be a great time to discuss them.
Okay, do either of your groups help with registration of a new trademark as opposed to a patent?
So just speaking back to what I mentioned in kind of like the step one, so our patent lawyer, that would be something they would do. So making a connection there and facilitating that meeting.
Jimmy?
And for us, we do support for Case Western Reserve students, staff, and faculty. Unfortunately, we don't have substantial support for community organizations at the moment.
From SCOR's perspective, client came to us asking about trademark registration. We would again refer them to the Cleveland Bar Association because there are very specific requirements for registering a trademark, especially at the national level. And of course, you want to be able to protect that trademark. So getting legal advice on how you file is probably really important. So we recommend getting legal advice. Yes, this is another question here. I'll just answer this. Contact information is in the video, and both of the slides are in the video. And since you're participating in this video, you will get a link to it once it's been cleaned up and posted on YouTube, and you'll be able to get there. Or you can contact your organizations directly through their website because all their contact information is very easy to find. Sharon, did you want to add something?
Yeah, I just, after thinking about it for a minute, we can definitely put links to slides right where we have the video posted. So that won't be a problem at all. So we can do that for both of you.
Great. Sharon is our webmaster, and she has the touch with the magic buttons to make all that stuff happen. Okay, so we answered that live. We answered that one live. See if there's anything else. Any other questions? We're coming up to the top of the hour. One more question here. Thank you, Sharon. Sharon, you have a grateful viewer. Any other questions here? Did I get that? I got that. Okay. Any other questions? I don't want to cut anybody off, but we are coming up to the top of the hour. Going once, going twice, 3 times. Thank you very much, Maggie and Liz and Jimmy. Oh, got one more. Thank you, everyone. And thank you from the bleachers. So thank you very much. We will be back in touch with you when this stuff is on our website. Sharon will take care of that for us. And we really appreciate this. It's been a terrific program. Thank you for all the effort that Maggie, Liz, and Jimmy, you put into this. We really appreciate it. And with that, I'm going to end the call. Everybody have a great day. Bye now.
Thank you.